Good evening and welcome. My name is Barbara Gray from Clarity here in the UK. I'm hoping that the sound is good. Grace is keeping us company over in New York, bless her, and I'm looking forward to this craft along. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. So let me see. Grace is here waiting with soup and tea. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Grace. Poor Mike's got COVID. I know it's going round again. I hope that you are keeping well, though. I hope that you are excited to be crafting and that you've cleared a space and you've had an early tea. This is going to be a little bit different this time. I decided, my rules. I thought it would be nice to try something a little different. Hello from the south of Poland. Well, bonjour. Wow, south of Poland. Interesting, eh? Come on in. Yeah, I just thought, we do something very predictable usually, don't we? And we work towards a project, and we're still going to do that. But I thought we'd try something a bit new, and rather than prescribe to you what it needs to look like, I'm just going to teach you a process and give you different clues and tips, right? And tricks. And so it's going to be an hour or so of real play. Just good evening. Spain. We have Spain in the building too. How lovely is this? Nice to have your company, Jan. What's the weather like in Spain at the moment? Have you got rain in Spain? Or have you got a sunny Spain at the moment? Deirdre, nice to have your company. Thank you so much for the beautiful gift. There's one on its way to you too, my dear. Now, let me see. So as I was saying, I thought it would be nice to try something a little different. It's a background technique, okay? And you can use any colors, any stencils. I mean, I've gone for a particular couple of stencils because I've got to. That doesn't mean that you have to, though. You can pick anything from your stash. I'll just tell you which stencils are particularly good for this technique. All right, there will be certain stencils that are better than others. Just the designs would lend themselves better, if you see what I mean. Yeah, so there you go. Paul's on his way up to, while we wait for our friends to come in, Paul is on his way up to Hobby Maker. He always goes up the evening before. Excuse me, I'm just checking my phone. I know, how rude, but I have my reasons. Okay, so Paul's on his way up to Hobby Maker. I'm sure he might be there by now. The traffic is always a bit savage on the M40. He's got TV up at the TV tomorrow at, and I don't know what time though, but I'm sure that Grace will be able to tell me. I'll keep her on her toes. I know I'm a little bit, what do they say, 6s and 2s today? Be all right. Yeah, so Paul's on TV. Maybe Jane. Maybe you know when he's on. Hello, Jane Telford. Nice to have your company too. I know it's tomorrow afternoon, and it'll probably be like 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, or 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock, something like that. No rain in Spain. I'm glad to hear it. Nice. The website says 2 and 5. Well, then the website told us correctly. So thank you, Gracie. Paul is on Hobby Maker, keeping you company at 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And if I'm not mistaken, dear Louise is going to be presenting and demonstrating on her own at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning from Clarity TV. So that's really great for all you Parchers. She's great, isn't she? Jane Telford says again that Paul is on at 2 and 5. Yeah, so there you go. We're here to keep you company. Hobby Maker, that's right. Good. So what are we going to do this evening? Well, we've got a few friends in already. That's great. And what we'll do now is we'll have a cup of tea and I'll show you what the idea is. So do you remember a few weeks ago, we presented some blank calendars and journals. There was one for Parchment, one for Mixed Media, there was a calendar, 2026, you know. And I'm always keen to have a reason to get together, like a craft along or the shack. You know, I need something to hang my hat on. And I thought it'd be a brilliant opportunity if we could use the journal or the calendar and work together once a month on a Thursday evening, you know, and just do something mixed media-y, something, you know, to fill the calendar. So my personal, what I really like doing is mixed media, paint, ink, a little bit abstract. I like abstract stuff, you know. I've got two things going on though. I've got a calendar and I've got a journal. So I can decide where I want. I've got to look at it for a year. So if I'm going to do the calendar, I'm going to do the calendar, then I've got to make a piece of artwork or select a piece of artwork that I'd be happy to look at for 30 days on my wall. It's not a forever art, is it? It's just for a month, you see. So I've already started because I've had like lovely artwork sitting around for years that I've really loved, you know, like abstract, like a print or something. And I haven't wanted to chop it up, haven't wanted to give it away, didn't really have a place for it on the wall, wasn't that good. And so I thought, yeah, I know what I'll do. So I'll show you these first. So we've got these, see, 2026 calendar with Parchment. Then we've got 2026 journal, and it comes with card as well. And then we've got the calendar one as well, right? So they're pretty cool. And they come with, I mean, Lisa does all this for us. But we decided, let me show you the calendar. Calendar's self-explanatory, I suppose, isn't it? You might recognise that as what we did in the retreat. But what I'm saying is it comes with a card, right, that sits on there. So you do your artwork and then you can mount it in there. Now, me personally, I'd probably do it on another piece of paper or another piece of card. Practice first, one for test and one for best. You know, I mean, if the test is brilliant, well, happy days. Trim it to size. Bob's your uncle. Fanny is definitely your aunt. But, you know, this is a good size. It's not a 7 by 7. I think we made it a bit smaller. Yeah, we did. We made it 6.5 by 6.5, just so that it's got a little bit of white in the calendar. Always looks better, we think. So I was thinking tonight, rather than use one for test, one for best, I'm just going to use a 7 by 7 to show you the tricks and tips. And then if it's a good one, happy days, in it goes. If it's a bit ropey, I'll go again. I'll go again and again and again till I get it right. Makes sense, doesn't it? I think it does. Anyway, so the craft along is, of course, absolutely free. And I do it gladly and with joy. I wish I could do everything free. You know that? I really do. I really do. Wouldn't it be lovely if we didn't have this financial pressure all the time on running a business, you know? But there you go. I'm manifesting abundance. So the universe should be just about ready to kick in. It'll be all right. So let's have a look. We've got the calendar, we've got the journal. Journal's great. Lisa put lovely little quotes at the bottom, and then there's like an area where you can write stuff. And I was thinking that'd be a great one also for, you know, writing down I'm going to use it for my occasional little epiphany, or like when I want to write a particular process. You know what I mean? So that's what we're once a month. We're going to have we'll call it our calendar, a Clarity Calendar Craft Along. Okay, I know, what a mouthful. Thing is about that, it just gives us an opportunity to get together and do something arty, keep each other company. Hello, Eileen Godwin. Nice to have your company. So I was thinking, right, this is what I was thinking. I've got my little stash. See, I've got this idea with the nested circles, so that'll be another demo. That's this one. See, I've already started. Look, I've got 2 on the go. I've got my journal, where I put that one in the front. See, this is like strips and then twisted. I like this kind of style. So I thought, well, I'll keep that. I've got my little pack. Then I've got my calendar. So this is the one where I've already started filling it. Okay. But I'm going to do another one. Well, I've got a couple of gaps, so I've got to fill the gaps. But the point is, we are going to be a couple of months ahead of January, aren't we? And let's make this yours, mine calendar for Clarity events, Clarity get-togethers, Clarity workshops, right? So it's our art on the wall. This is gonna be my calendar. So I'm making it pleasing for me. You see, not giving it away. This is for me, and the art that you're doing, it's got to be for you. Don't worry about giving it away. Give it to you. Yeah. So let's have a look. This is the one. These are the pieces of artwork, look, that Lisa put on the front page. Do you recognize it? Now let's have a look. So I've got January already good to go, because that just reminds me of a fabulous retreat. 2 days we did in the summer. I really enjoyed this. Right, so I'm hanging on to that one as well. And then, so this is artwork that I just love, right? Don't ask me why. I'm looking forward to staring at it for a month in February. This was years ago, a gel print. It looks like a little house. I can see a sea. I don't know. And the thing about this stuff is you can never do it twice. This was another one that I really liked. And I liked the way, I just like that process. And I like the way the colours peep through on that ocean swirl. I really like that. And that is the same. Look, it's the opposite. So how did I get that out of that? I will never know, and I will never be able to repeat it. But it is actually the same blinking. It was the same process. You know, when you get a twofer. I know. Don't ask me how. I could make 1,000 prints, friends, and I would never get that one again. And I think that is what I love about gel press mono printing. Right, May, we've drawn a blank. June, I'm waiting. I'm not ready yet. I haven't found anything or made anything that I want to look at for a month. Now September. This was a print that I did with a lino print that I did, which I rather like. Yeah. And this was a leaf print. This is a proper original print. This isn't a print of a print. This is the actual paint. I love it. October. Yeah, leaves from the garden. Then we got November, and I bet I haven't got one for December either. So I got plenty of gaps in my calendar. You see? So my tip to you is you get yourself a calendar or the journal, whichever you prefer. And then you will also have some beautiful prints or some artwork that you just love, right? And then allocate them in the months, but you'll have plenty of gaps like me, and it's the gaps that we're going for. Or you may have a completely blank calendar, and this could be January, what we're working on now. And you could, if you wanted to, you could use this monthly mixed media. I'm going down the mixed media route on this stuff, right? And we're going to learn different backgrounds and arty processes, okay? And then you can take what we learn. You've got a month to kind of practice it a bit. You could kind of use it as a little bit of a classroom, you know, and then learn that skill, get that under your belt, make a nice piece of artwork for your calendar, and the following month we'll do something new. I'll present something new to you. How's that sound? Wow, we've got loads of friends in the building today. Isn't that exciting? Good. Right, enough waffle. Let's get going. I think there are plenty of you now, so let's get started. Gracie, I hope that you're feeling okay. I know COVID sucks. She went to a wedding in San Francisco at the weekend. I know. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a big expedition when I go to East Peckham to the garden centre. Oh, I live in New York. Just pop me to San Francisco for a wedding. Anywho, let's get started. So today there was a list. It was a really kind of long list as well. I looked, where did I put it? An ingredients list. It's here somewhere. Anyway, on the list, I reduced it radically. But basically, the most important thing on the list was we're going to learn how to use masking fluid. So I plumbed for the Daler Rowney watercolor masking fluid. You know, it's the clue's in the word, masking fluid. It's really good, and because it works with watercolor, it creates a real block, right? So there's a lot of fun to be had with this. Okay, so I thought, right, we're going to use that. I'm just scouring the area for my, I don't know. Yes. Here it is. I tell you why it's over here, because just before we went live, well, I spent a happy hour. I've got to show you because these are coming up. These are my NHS angels. Do you remember? I decided it was time to lean into the NHS. God bless the NHS. Let's have a look. So I drew these lovely girls. No, I know I digress again, but I'll just show you. I thought they would be really nice. And I've got a plan. So this is like a rough draft. There's another one, a real Christmassy girl. I thought she'd be nice as an angel. Gorgeous. Yeah. So this is where we're going, friends. Yeah. Very sisters, friends, angels, NHS. Bingo. See? And I think we could take the wings off if we don't want to get wings on. So the wings are going to be separate. And then we just got these beautiful women. There you go. So, but what I did was, when I put these to one side, I grabbed the list as well. Okie dokie. Right. So that's my plan. Light drawing. I'm not particularly good, but it's like everything, you know, if you do enough of it, it's like Elizabeth always says, the more you do, the better you get. And the better you get, the more you want to do, right? So let's have a look at this rather comprehensive list, because in the end, what we really need is this, we need the masking fluid. We need a piece of card. I'm going to go with a 7x7, right? We need to start with, I tell you what, I'll give you another clue. This stuff is also called Frisket, okay? Frisket. In America, it tends to be called liquid Frisket. Just so you know, I know. Louise said, isn't that a beef joint? I said, no, I think that's brisket. Frisket. Okay. So we've got, and what I've done is I've taken the masking fluid and I've dropped it in a pot. I'm not shaking it. Right, top tip, quite did I smell? Top tip, don't shake it and make it bubbly. Well, you can, but then you'll just get another effect. Okay, so this is what we're doing now. We're going to work on, we've got that and that. Now, if we're going to use a stencil, we need a stencil. So I've got a stencil. I've got a couple of stencils. I'll show you what I'm going to use. So I've got these ones. These are from a ring of stencils. So there's like loads of them on a ring. They come on a ring. Now these are particularly good. This kind of stencil, see? So they've got a bit of detail. They're quite abstract. These are masks, of course, in themselves, aren't they? They cover up the area right? So you've got all these different stencils. These ones are frameless, if you like. There's a pack of 10 of them. You've got all different shapes and what have you, but they're frameless. In other words, they don't come with an outer. They've got other ones, rings. These are brilliant as well. These ones are the ones we're using on Saturday when we do our Alcohol Inc. Online workshop. There's loads of us rocking up on Saturday. I know. Well, looking forward to that as well. So on Saturday, we're using these ones, which in contrast, you see, frameless. You can see the difference, can't you? You could use both of these. What the key is that it's got a little bit of pattern, right? What wouldn't work would be like a stencil where it's a great big, you want a bit of detail. If you had let me show you a stencil that wouldn't work at all. I'm sure I've got, here we go. Okay. Yeah, no. Say something like that or like that. See, that wouldn't work. No, it wouldn't. You want something with a little bit more detail, okay? Pattern, abstract patterns. That's definitely the way to go. Okay, so have you got a stencil? I'd love to know what you're using. You can use anything you fancy. That's quite a nice one, that flowery one. But I think I'll stick to what I was prepping with because that works for me. So if I show you a little sales drill, hang on a minute, friends. Look, 01087 is this one, the stencil ring number 3. Then we've got, here we go, that's this one that I'm using here, the frameless one, 00953, right? And then we've got another one. This is a pretty good one too. Now this one would be absolutely dynamite actually. 00906. 00906. I rather like the patterns in that one. Oh, hang on. I know what I'll do. I'll keep that one shut because it's got the number on it. And I may just, I've got a spare. I may just grab. See, these patterns are pretty cool. Let's have a look. Yes, look. So these ones are pretty nice, you know. I think I'm going to try that one. Look at these. See, these will work like a charm. Now I've gone quiet now. I'm starting to salivate over stencils. Kinky. Right, so there we are. That one is rather lovely. Ring of stencil set 1, in fact. Okay, so I'll pop that in my little stash. Set 1, 906. So we've got 906, 953, and 1087. Those are the rings of stencil. The thing I like about these is you've got so many different patterns. Right, key. So there you go. I've got a few now. That'll do me. And I thought, what would be really cool? I'll show you what to do, yeah? And then, because it takes a little bit of drying time. So while it's drying, I'll show you a few other little tricks. Okay, so got the Frisket, got that. We need an applicator. These are good. These orange applicator. Don't want to use, thing about Frisket or liquid masking fluid, it's not, it can wreck your paintbrushes if you're not quick with water. It's water soluble, but once it sets, it'll really wreck your paintbrushes. So you don't want to use you don't want to use your sable hair paintbrush for this job. Okay, so these are cheap and cheerful and they work really well. These little sets of these are pretty good for alcohol ink application as well. 30835. So I've got a few of those. So we got them, we've got that, got that. Got a bit of copy paper. For the sake of argument, I'm going to put a bit of pink underneath, only so that you can see what I'm doing, okay? And I've got a door here with a sink. So I may, every now and again, I might just shoot back there to wash my stencil or my sponge applicator. I have a glass with water. not for drinking, but for dipping this in just to keep it clean. I did this one, washed it, still a bit damp, but it will do the trick, right? So you don't have to, it's not like one every time. You can use them again. If you don't wash this, you can bin it. That's the fact. Right, so I've got that, and that. Right, what else do I need? Card, low-tack masking tape. Why wouldn't you? Right, so we need a little bit of low-tack masking tape as well. Yeah. And then I think what I'll do is I'll show you where you're headed, because if you don't see, that's all the gear, that's what you need, right, for the first half of the demo. Yeah, and some kind of outline stencil. The leafy swirl would be great. A little bit tighter patterns would be better, but I'm sure you've got something at home. Now let me show you. Who's in the stencil club? Hands up. Who's in the stencil club? Hello. Right, my favourite. We've got 3 clubs: Stamp, Stencil and Groovy. These are clubs that have been going for decades, right? Still got a couple of thousand members. Wonderful. Very educational. And over the years, they've evolved. You know, they've got better and better. It used to be just a stamp club. Then it was a stamp club and a stencil club. And then, of course, it got to we had to have a groovy club. We even had a die club, but we knocked that on the head because with that, we don't make dies. And it was starting to get a little bit challenging getting it dies in from China. So we knocked that one on the head. Never mind. So when it's all about education. And there's a booklet that we print, we design. So Jane Telford, myself, Linda Williams, between the 3 of us, we've got these clubs covered, and we make double projects for you every month. And then we send you also the stencil or the stamp or the groovy plate, brand new design just for you. Okay. And then if you're in one club, you get 10% discount on anything you buy. If you join 2 clubs, so to me, stamp and stencil should go together. I think they sit well together. Groovy sort of stands alone, but then I also know that a lot of you do both. You do both crafts. So many of you are diamonds. You're all 3 clubs, which means that you get 15% discount on anything you buy. That's how it works. But for me personally, it would be stamps and stencils. So if you're in the stamp club and you haven't joined the stencil club, you know, sometimes maybe you can't afford it. It's not expensive. I think it's about £7 a month or something, which is pretty good for what you get. But this last month, I came up with this trick. So stencil clubbers, you will be familiar with this. Those of you who are not in the stencil club, you won't be. So I'm going to show you the card that I made. Okay. I'll show you this is the stencil. That was the stencil that was used. So you can see how these are the sort, aren't they, that work well. Then Jane Telford, she did a cracking design. Let me show you her tutorial for you. Right, so she used this one, and she used our little triangle people, which is really good, right? And you can see here, so this is how it works. You get a colour step-by-step photographic class, really, and she tells you exactly how it works. And then Jilly and I, we lay it all out, create it all together. Brilliant. My one, see, so we got a double project. Jane and I worked together on this. So then mine is best friend. And I came up with this idea. So I used the Frisket, the liquid Frisket, through the stencil. So I want to show you mine because I really like this. So usually, right, that, believe it or not, you know this, that is using 3 colours, ink pads, distress oxides with a brush through the stencil. Most of you will be familiar with that technique. Okay. And it's very neat and it's very nice. Now, I took that stencil because I do like grunge and mixed media. The background on this is using, let me show you, the same stencil, right? So it's all one layer. This is a panel of the same chopped up, you see, but this is using the same stencil. And I thought, it's so cool. It's so cool, right? And when I started doing this, I had no idea that I was going to use the Eiffel Tower. No, it never occurred to me. It wasn't until I was stood standing in front of the card that I thought, and I'd used the triangular mini gel press, which is, we're going to need them in part 2 of the, you know, these things, jelly plate, little baby ones. And because I'd used the gel press over the top, it wasn't until I thought, whoa, it just screaming out for something triangular. And that's what I meant about later on when we get to it. We're not gonna I'm not gonna say, oh, you must use the Eiffel Tower, or you know, you will look at your artwork and you'll say, I know what would fit in that. Next thing is no judgment on this. When you start working, if it looks really ropey, don't judge your work, because it's not over until it's over. Okay, even there are certain things that you can do, right, which to make it more interesting, and I will explain that as we go along. But no judgment here. No, I don't want to see. I will ignore if I see someone saying, oh, mine's rubbish. It's like, so's mine. It's not over yet. I've got a pile of what looks like rubbish over here, but they're going to be in my calendar. One of these is going to make the cut, you wait, right? But I just want you to see this, because it is a delightful technique for backgrounds, and it's using Frisket through a stencil. Okay, so I thought I'd show you where we're headed, because what do you prefer, that or that? If you prefer that, that's safe. This is edgy. I could look at that for 30 days. I think I'd get bored looking at that for 30 days. Agreed? Everyone is yelling, me, I'm in the club. Well, I am so glad that you're in the club, because that's what's keeping us going, friends. Believe you me. That and the online courses. Right, so this is the Stencil Club. It's a good one, right? And then later on, if I have time, I'll show you the stamp clubs. But I'm sure that Grace will give you the links for that. Now, let me drink my tea, because then we're going to get going. Right. We're going to attach. We'll do an experiment with one of the stencils, because we can make loads, right? Let's just do loads. Don't have to finish loads tonight, but let's just do a few, okay? You got some stencil card, and you got a few stencils. You've got an applicator. You know, we might have to, every now and again, we might have to rinse off the stencil, because it does peel off. It's quite a nice, it's a bit, I love doing it when it went to rub it off. It's the best part of the game, right? So let's have a look. We need a bit of stencil card. I'm sure I had a piece here. Oh, well, get another bit. Right, we're going to use a bit of stencil card, and then I'll use this one to start with, okay? This one. So I want to do 2. I'm going to show you. Let's do 2, right? Low tack tape. And we'll just stick that down. Let's have a look. Let's go like that side, like that. Okay. Cool, this could take a while if I can't decide which way around it is. That'll do. Okay, right. So we stuck that down. Now it's not plush. It's not sort of flush on there. Now so that's actually good though, because what we want to do is go underneath the stencil a little bit as well. Oh, I'll tell you what else you need. Paper towel. You got some paper towel handy? Bit of paper towel. It's good to have, right? Right, bit of paper towel. Frisket. Move them out of the way. We're going to do a couple now. We're going for it. Now we're going to make one really carefully and dry, right? Because what we want to do is not seep in underneath. So we're going to try one where it's very careful and very almost like damp. This is the dry run, right? Then I'm going to flip it over and do another bit here, but that one I'm going to really make it a lot wetter. So we'll see the difference. Does that make sense? We'll see the difference. Right, and I'm going to use my lid. That's why I did this. So I'm going to go in there like that, right? There's quite a lot on there now. I'm going to go like that on there. And then I'm going to stamp, literally just gently onto the stencil, like that. And I'm pouncing across the stencil and adding. Right, so I'm thinking that I probably have covered that on the inside. Now I wonder if I lift this up, let me just see if I've gone in underneath. Oh, not too bad. But what you're going to note, see, this is the thing. The more you use, the more mask you've got. So you've got the stencil's a mask, right? I'm lifting this off now. The stencil's a mask. Then the Friscuit's a mask. So you'll think, well, what have you put it all on for? Just take it all off again. Ah, because there's loads on here. You can't see it very well. But if I lift this up to you, and let me just show you. There's quite a lot on there, but you can see the pattern. You can see the pattern on that one. Right, so now I'm going to take that off there, leave that there. I've got some on here as well, see? So I'll just pad that off. I'll wipe it off because otherwise I'm going to transfer that straight. So I'm just taking right, and I'll just pop that on there. This is playtime, friends. Don't judge this. Right, now this time, let's see. So I've got quite a lot on there, but I'm trying to bring out the pattern. Let's see if I'm pressing too hard. See, what I can do is I can check. Not bad. So I know because it's white, it's not so easy to see. But I'm just going to do this. Oh, right. So we've got some Friscuit there. Put the lid on there for a minute. I'm going to take because I know, right, that if I leave that like that, there'll be so much Friscuit on there, there won't be much of a pattern. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go like that and I'm going to blot out some of the Friscuit because I've got a feeling there's quite a lot underneath them. See, I can see how much is there when the light hits. I mean, you can't, but I can see exactly how much is there. So I can blot it as well, see? Then I can have a look and think, yeah, this could be good. This could be good. It could be a bit ropey, but either way, there's a bit of Friscuit on there. There's a bit of liquid mask, and it's got some kind of semblance of pattern going on. Right. So now, right, I've got that. That's all right. Let's go again. So I'm going to take that off there. Right. And I think in the name of research and development, I'm going to leave the Friscuit on that stencil, right? And then I'll let it dry on there and see what happens if you let it dry. Because what I've been doing is running in there, washing them quickly. So let's just see what happens if you leave it on, whether it peels off afterwards. It should do, really. So if I take a look at this one, this is the first attempt. And you could possibly see, this is a bit of a magic trick, really, because you can't see much. Yeah, a bit sad, really. But all you know is, just trust the process. All you know is that you've put some masking fluid through the stencil. And the object of this exercise is to figure out how much we're using, right? So I'm just getting rid of the excess. I think I'll get rid of the bits off that sponge. I reckon we'll go again with that. If it gets a little bit cruddy, it's all part of the texture. It's all right. We're just putting down some masking fluid, all right? We're not passing. This is an exam. There's no judges here. This creation now, I'm going to put it over here and let that dry, air dry. We can always speed dry it afterwards. Right, let's try a different. Let's go again. Let's try a different stencil. Oh no, low battery. Hang on a minute, Gracie. I don't want to lose you. Who's not well? Lillian, it would be a very gentle hug. Someone sounds like they're poorly. Did I miss something? Okay, so I'll show you just so that you can see. Let me show you one that you're going to go, oh, it's rubbish, but you can see the difference. Like, now let's take a look at this one. That was the stencil we just used. Right. Now, here, I padded it through. Okay, you can see this bit here. It went in underneath the stencil. Everywhere where there was masking fluid stayed white. Now, it's not to say this isn't fabulous. You can see on this side, obviously, I was a little more careful with the fluid, with the liquid. So when I pop that on there like so, now where's that stencil? Like that. Right, when I did that, the masking fluid is all white, but clearly it didn't go in underneath. Now, I'm going to tell you, I looked at this earlier and I thought, this, right, if I take my viewfinder, I've got to know, I know you, and I've got to show you a bit of hope. Okay. because you're gonna look at that and you're gonna go, well, and she wants me to join the stencil club. And I'm saying, you really do want to join the stencil club. It's fabulous. Right, now, see, so you've got your viewfinder like that. And then when you start to isolate, now let me just give you a clue. If I take that now and I just use that bit there, because I really like this. See, now, to me, it doesn't have to look like anything, but to me, it does. I'm going to show you. If I go to my go-to box, and I know you think, well, where's she gone now, right? But I'm going to show you. I just want to show you how. Right, let's take this one. So if I take, right, Big Ben. Okay, let me just take Big Ben. If I was to put Big Ben there, then I've got the wheel. You know, the London Eye. There it is. Look, it's fabulous. Okay, so I've got Big Ben in front. I've got the Thames. I've got my people on this side of the river. See, but I've isolated that there. And when you start to use your imagination and look at all the stamps you've got, change the colours, you'll be blown away by the potential. And this is a fantastic exercise in just trusting a process. See, you think that might not look good, but with the right stamp in front of it, it will look superb. You just have to not judge it. Just trust the process and enjoy it. Okay, right. So Grace, how are we doing? Everybody happy? Richard and Lisa Gray have taken separate falls this week and today. They're okay but injured. What are you doing, friends? I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, golly, that's tough. Well, at least you got each other. Well, I'm sending love and healing hugs. Now, let's have a look. So let's go again. I hope that you could still able to craft. Let me put my little masterpiece back. Right, next piece of card. Come on, let's do another one. I'm going to take this one now and I'll pop it. Actually, yeah, let's do that one down the middle. Let's see what this one looks like. It's got the little ring there. So what about if I'll do it a little bit skewy so it's not bang in the center like that. So I'll just take my masking tape again and then we'll go again. All right. Let me just pop that on there like so. So I'm going to put some, I think actually I might flatten this one down a little bit. I know that if I flatten it down, oh, let's have a look. there's less likelihood of it seeping underneath. Having said that, if I use a lot of the liquid Frisket, then it will bleed in underneath. That's half the charm, though. You're not, the object of the exercise is not to avoid that. Right, you've got your paper towel ready to blot it if you overcook it. Just let me check something. Okay, no worries. Right, let's have a look. So we're going like that. Then we've got Frisket. Here we go again. Let's do another one. So I've got that, I've got my lid. Right, I've got a little bit on there now. Right, in we go. Now, let's do half and half. Let's just see. On this half, I'm going to blot it. Look, I'm taking loads off before I even start. And then I'm going to go on that half, like, just so you can see. And I'm not really pressing too hard. And hopefully, let's just, you got to experiment, see? So I've got rid of loads and I've just pounced through that stencil. Okay, now I've done that. Happy with that. Done that. Now let's see what happens if I go back and over the first half, because that was going to be the wetter half, I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to blot, which seems a bit weird, but I'm going to blot a load of it out of the way again. Let me see if it's just a question of checking. Let's have a look how much there is. Let me just have a look. Yeah. Okay. Right. So you saw what I did there. Right. That's that one. Right. We'll check that one out. Okay. I love doing this stuff. This is very addictive. So when I lift this up, and I know this is difficult for you to see, but you can see the pattern there, and you can see that I blotted a lot more away. Can you see that? Right. So you've got a lot more control over how much you use than you think you do. Right, so now I've done that one. Let me close that there like that. Right, always put the lid on the Frisket so that it doesn't set. Right, now this time I'm going to pop in here in my little back cupboard. It sounds like this sounds like that film with The Shining. Wait, listen. I know. Right, I'm just going to get to the sink though. Right, I'm just going to rinse out. Actually, you're with me anyway because I've got the mic on. Let me just rinse this out. I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to use it again. Right. So I'm checking now. I know, sounds like I'm in the bathroom. Let me just squeeze that through there. This is one of my favourite stencils, so I'm not going to risk it on this one. Right. Okay, that was it. Yeah, because I mean, Frisket is pretty. I know. This is a bit Halloweeny. Okay, so it comes off really easily if you're quick. The cupboard door is closed. It sounds like you're weeing. Well, I'm not. I was cleaning my stencil. Where's the WD-40? I know, Nahid. I was thinking that this afternoon, and then I went off and did something different. Okay, so this one is nice and clean. I know. It's all right. This is a craft along, friends. Right. So this one's going to be setting now. I think you get the picture. Right. If I had my teacher hat on, I'd say that you have to kind of consider when you're doing this. I'll show you one. Now the reason that you can see this one is because what I did was I Oh, hello. I used a dirty one of these, and because it had ink on it, when I went through the stencil, it stained. It didn't stain, it just stained the Frisket, which is ideal, right? It hasn't stained the card or anything, but you can see what the object of the exercise is. If I show you this now, I've already done a little bit of work to this, because wherever it's brown, that is where the liquid mask is. So you can see that it's taken the shape of the stencil really beautifully, right? I put it here, I put it up there, moved it round. You know now how to apply it, right? We've done 2. That'll do for now. You understand if the masking fluid seeps in underneath the stencil, then like here, it's obvious that you can see where the stencil was. Look, I've got it here, right? So if this is the stencil, let's get it round like so. So you can see exactly that underneath the stencil. Ask yourself, did she use loads? Yes, she did. And it seeped in all under the stencil. So then my job was to make sure to get rid of it. So I was a little bit slow off the mark. And when I went to blot it, it was already set. Okay, happens. So then what I did was I thought, right, so I waited for it to dry. Then I went in with a blending tool, because I thought, there's no point in adding ink to this, because when I add ink to this, wherever there's Frisket, it's going to be white afterwards, isn't it? Yeah, it does look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Jane. So if you, at this point, before you add ink, afterwards too late, right? But say, for example, I want to take out a little bit of the colour. I want to add a bit of colour. I've got to remove the mask. So I know it looks grubby and it might be rubbish, but look, when I see if I go in there with that, I can lift out the Frisket. See, look, I've got rid of it there. Ideal. So what I'm saying is, let's say I want to take a bit out of this area here. Otherwise, this is going to end up, if this is all brown, it's going to end up white. And only where the white is now will you see any colour, right? So if I remove the Frisket, so I'm going round now, you could use an eraser pencil, or you can use a blending nib, right? Just a blending nib. But wherever I go in here, if I take out the Frisket before I add ink, then I'm going to get colour there. So it's never too late, if you see what I mean. Well, it is once you've added colour. You can't then decide to do this. So this is the point at which I think it's going to look good, though. I like it like that. Should have gone to Specsavers. There you go, see? Wherever there's loads of Frisket, it's going to be white. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Right, so now we've got this one. And then we've got the ones that we've got the first one with that weird the one with the semicircle on it, the one where I've left the masking fluid on here to see if it comes off or whether I've wrecked. Oh no, it comes off like a charm. Look. Oh yes, this could become my new favorite pastime. Check it out. Look. Oh, I love doing this. Look, don't I know what it looks like. You don't have to tell me. We're all aware, but look how it comes off. Oh yeah. I like this. Look. Yeah. So it's actually never gonna wreck your stencils, that's for sure. Look, it's lovely when it comes off. It just rubs off. Oh yeah. Look. I know. I bet kids enjoy this. It's like little, don't say it, we know what it looks like. This reminds me when I was doing my Duke of Edinburgh, and it was when I was a teenager, and I was doing a teacher's assistant. I was being a teacher's assistant in a little junior school in Gillingham, and the teacher was trying to teach the children. It was physics, and she was trying to teach the children about friction. Okay, and they were all sitting cross-legged. And Gillingham is one of those places. Is it's pretty rough. Gillingham's quite rough. Anyway, this school was in Napier. It was a bit rough, and these little kids are just beautiful, right? There's a little boy. They were all sitting on, they're all cross-legged, and the teacher was teaching them about friction. Okay, so she's like this, and she goes, right, children. Okay, children, start rubbing your hands. Rub, rub, rub. Go on, rub, 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 rub. Rub your hands. Rub, rub, rub. And all the little kids all sitting there rubbing. And she goes, that's it. Keep going. And what's happening? Tim, what's happening, dear? And he went, I've got all little black bits. All little black bits. Anyway, that's what this just reminded me of. That was that physics lesson. Anyhow, right, now it's time to add the colour. Are you ready? So I've got 3 pieces of artwork that are going to get colour added to them, right? This needs to be dry before we do that. I reckon that's dry. Let's have a look. Okay, so how do we add colour? Well, the frisket part of the job's over, but you could really have a lot of fun. Let me come out a little bit. You could really have a lot of, you could do loads of that. And because you can't see what you're doing, it's quite magic, isn't it? Right, now, part 2, okay? So you know how to apply the frisket. Now, part 2. We're going to use gel press, right? So we've got these petite gel press. We've got the one with the round, the square, and the triangle. That's that one. And then we've got the one with the rectangle, the oval, and the hexagon. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this one for the moment, which is the one with the triangle, the circle, and the square. Brand new. Treat myself to a new square. It's the one I use the most. Right. So what we've got to kind of consider, right, so these, when you buy these, they don't come automatically with their mounts. We provide the mounts, okay? It makes sense, okay? Because it turns them into stamps. And these 4x4 4mm mega mounts, they just happen to sit perfectly in the packaging, which is great. So let's have a look at these, see where we are now. This is interesting. This is an interesting process. So we've got these jelly plates, gel press, and we've got, let's see, I'll show you a couple of tricks. So most of you will be familiar with these, but some of you might not be. So let me show you something, because the frisket or the liquid mask, right, or the stencil, even the stencil on its own, they are like blocks, aren't they? They create marks on the page, on the print, because they block out the ink or the paint. Yeah. So let me show you a couple of tricks. And what ink? I'm going to stick to ink, and I'm using archival ink. Okay, archival. I just placed another order with Ranger. I'm a Ranger girl. So let's see. Let's take, just to show you a couple of little tricks. If I take, for example, I'll take teal. I'll use these little ones. I'm going to take teal, and let me see if I've got a nice, what have I got here? A nice plum. I'm thinking plum. I don't know, I'll treat myself to a new box. It's excellent. Right, let's have a look. So I've got a teal and a plum, and I'm going to take this one. Let me use this one, and I'll show you a couple of things. Like if I'll put a bit of teal on there, so a brand new one, so you can see the colour, and I'll put a bit of plum and teal on there, so you can see. These are archivals. They give you a really good colour mix. Now let's have a look. What have I got here? let me take a brayer. Right, so we've got brayer. And what I'm going to do is take my brayer, just show you a little trick first. Different. It's not nothing to do with what we're, go that way and then go that way. I've got a little bit of something on my, that's all right. That'll do. It's art, right? So I've ventured that way and then I've ventured the other way and I've got a bit of an ombre, if you like, a bit of color, right? Let me take a piece of, let's have a look. Let me take a piece of just white card like that. Now, if I put this down on there, I'm just going to get, right, let me show you. I'll do that and I'm going to get just a nice smooth like background like that. Got a bit of crud on there. Let me just clean it off. Right. So that makes sense. Nothing to write home about, but you get the picture. So now let's have a look. If I go, I'm going to put the teal back and I'll put, and now I'm going to call, let's call them interrupters. I'm going to add something that interrupts the ink. Now let me just check which colours where. Okay, so that's the blue there. Right, so off I go again. And I'm just showing you how to blend colours at the same time. So now I've got two different colours going. Right, okay, so that'll do. Nice. So now I've got that. Let me show you if I take another piece of card. But this time, let's go with an interrupter. So how about a bit of lace? Anything, right? This is where it comes into its own. So let me do that. Let's see if this works. If I go in there now like so, right? So it's like a really intricate stencil, if you like, isn't it? But it just shows you when you squish like that, see what happens. Right, so it's squishing into the lace. When I lift that off, I've got this fantastic lace design. Check it out, right? So that is a really predictable way to use these little mini gel presses. When I did that, I also have got more ink on here. So let me actually do it on the back here so you can see them next to each other. Otherwise, they'll be flipping backwards and forwards all the time. So now I've got the opposite. So this one, where the white is here, it's on the jelly plate. So now I can do the transfer trick and I can do the positive and the negative. See? So you've got two. This is a real cool, simple way to go. But it's very neat, very classy, looks lovely. They fit beautifully in those coasters that we make. Yeah, it's just nice. The point I'm making here, many of you will have seen me do this 1,000 times. The thing about this whole trick is it's about interruption. Like this is another way, this is another interrupter. Okay, so say for example, right, just for the sake of argument, let's just go again, right? Just so that you understand what the point is. So because it's doing the same thing, which is the blue end, that's the blue side. It's doing the same thing as the Frisket, except we're using lace or we're using punchinella. This is called punchinella sequin waste, right? So just go like that, mix it up like that. Right, so see, I could take that and I could try and run through there, but it's not squishy. You've got hard brayer, hard surface, hard. So I get a little bit of a mark, but it's not exciting, is it? Now let's take that and let's see what happens if I take another piece of card, pop that on there like so, right? Oh, and then let's see what happens with the squishy gel press. See, I can see this. I'm just putting it bang in the center so I can show you. This is like the Frisket. You understand? Yeah, that's it. So because this is squishy, when I push down on the mount that you need really, see, isn't that fab? Okay, so then I'll take that off there, take another little bit of card, and if my theory serves me well, I should get the opposite. Maybe, maybe not. Let's have a go. See what we get this time. But it's a smashing trick and nice background as well. So these are very neat, very clean. This is kind of clean mixed media. This is dirty, grungy mixed media. It's stretching us a little bit. See, isn't that nice? Nice for a background. Look, check it out. Right, so you've got the positive and the negative. You've got the positive and the negative lace. All nice. And all using a couple of little ink pads. You just wander that way, get your ombre, right? The mix, nice blend. So you start in the center, you go. Right, so those are your colors, and that's how it works. So now what we're going to do, let's take, which one should we take? Let's take this one. I think this is going to be the one that is going to be like nice. I think I want to try that one because I'm only going to do the one, and we don't need to spend hours doing this. Just do the one, because then you'll understand how this works. And then tomorrow, when a little bit of Zen time, I'll pick a couple of other colors and I'll try these ones and I'll post them on Facebook so that you can see what these look like. Okay, these actual ones, you'll recognize it. One's the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the other one's the London Eye in my mad head. Okay, and I will finish these and show you how beautiful they are when you take the view ruler and you just size up which bit you want to use, stamp in black over the front. Beautiful. Right, but let's show you how to use the ink on here. So I'm going to pick the colors. I don't want it to be too dark. Okay, so I've got my little system. I did this. I bought this about 60 or 70 quid mad money. But there's so much going on at the moment at work, and I just, when you do, for me, when you do things like this, it makes you feel like you've got a bit more control. Look, all the yellows. Look, this is mental. All the yellows, all the oranges. Right, I've got all my ink pads, all color coordinated. Right, and then I've labeled them yellow, orange. I know, like I haven't got enough going on. It took me hours, and I love doing it. So I've got a yellow. I'll use that teal, and then there's a really nice green, not prickly pear, vivid chartreuse. That'll do. This is a nice color combination. I'm going to start with the light one first, and I'll also use a brayer that's lighter so that you can see what I'm actually doing. So picking a black one's a bit of a... Right, now let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got archival. You're going to ask me, can I use other ink pads? Yeah, of course you can. You can use Distress Oxides, you can use Distress Inks, you can use paint. If you're asking me, can you use liquid Frisket with other watercolor, acrylic paint, Distress Oxides, Adirondacks? Of course you can. Of course you can. I'm just using these because they give me a lovely, sharp, and they also give me generations of ink. So I load up the brayer because Lillian, I think you said to me the other day in the shack, you said, can I use a spot on sponge when I'm distributing the ink on the gel press or something like that? And I said, you can. But the thing is, when you put it on the brayer, you could go again and again and again. You don't have to keep going back to the ink pad. Interesting. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to start with the yellow. I'm going to start with a light color. And the other thing that I feel, right, what I feel is that when you change to another color, I feel that it's a good idea to clean off the, let's just see what color this is when it's okay. So it's sort of yellow orangey color. All right, what's it called? Pure Sunshine. Okay, right. So let's give it a bit more go. Right, because sometimes you need to sort of season the. Put a bit more on, and then I'll use my brayer again just to spread it out. We'll do the brayer trick to spread it out first. All right, let's just pop that on there now, and then I'll squish it in. See, when you squish it, this is the same process as if it was punchinella or lace, except now I'm squishing it into the, you can't see it very well, but you will in a minute, right? So now I'm gonna, let's see what happens if I like this color, this yellow, but it's quite a light color. So let's see how dark it is if I pop it there without using the brayer. And I'm kind of going, oh yeah, okay. So you can see now where the liquid mask, you can see the pattern there, right? Smoother, braided, bit blistery, got ya. Right, I'm going to put another one on there. And you're going to ask me in a minute, what do I clean? What do I use to clean? Because we're using a solvent-based ink here, right? Water won't touch it. So I'm going to use IPA, isopropyl alcohol, if you like. And I think I'll pop another one there, just cause. Okay. So I'm kind of going on and off the. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. It's not even. We're not even close to ready yet. I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol, IPA, to clean my, so I've done enough of the yellow for the moment. So now I'm going to go for the light green, chartreuse. Now, if I want true chartreuse, God, isn't it awful? You buy a litre of it and then the spritzer bottle doesn't work. Go on. Okay. Right. There. So I clean that. It wasn't so bad. And then I'm going to just use that little bit to clean the brayer as well. Okay. So now that yellowy orange is gone. And now I'm going for the chartreuse. Okay. And I'm not thinking about, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do with the card, what stamp I'm going to use. I'm not going down that route. That will spoil this because invariably it won't work. What I am looking at is balance, like balance of color. So that's the only thing I'm considering. I'm not going to worry about placing the teal one there so I can put the Eiffel Tower in it. I'll think about that afterwards. Let's have a look. Right, so you see, now I've got to consider balance, and I'm going to the second lightest or the second darkest color, aren't I? So this is vivid chartreuse. Okay, let's see what this looks like, and we might still get a little bit of residue from the. Let's try it on here first. We might get a bit of residue from the yellow, so it might not be as vivid chartreuse as you would like. Oh, not bad. It's quite muted, isn't it? Quite light. So I'm going to, thing about these archivals is that they also, so I'm going to pop that straight in the middle. They overlap beautifully. Yeah, so now I'm putting that one straight over. See how it's darkening up that area? Nice. So let's go again with me vivid chartreuse. I'm not going to rush it though, it's a process. So this is quite bright, and let's see what happens if I don't. Just put that there. I didn't brayer it, so you can see the contrast. Oh yeah, there's a considerable difference, isn't there, when you brayer, not brayer. It's okay though. Like I'm just showing you. And I think what you'll find is when you get to grips with this, I mean, you can watch this back, you can order, you can join the club, and I bet Sue will sort out the, let's have a look, balance, balance, balance. I bet Sue would make sure if you asked her for this particular project, she'd be sure to sort that out for you. Now let's see what happens if we don't add any more ink. We'll just use the brayer. This is for you, Lillian. Let's see what we get. Because we need to kind of cover every part, don't we? Have a look. Balance. That'll do. Let's see. This was with just from the brayer. There we are. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean, Lillian? It's really cool. So now I'm going to stop with that colour, and now I'm going for the dark one. And the clue's in the word dark. So let's take Paradise. Now, Paradise teal, nice teal colour. If I put this straight over the Chartreuse, it will be a lot greener. It's the same if you put it over the yellow. It won't be your Paradise teal that you're expecting. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off my brayer with a little bit of my IPA. It's cheap as chips, that stuff, actually, isn't it? Are you enjoying this, friends? I hope so. I can see all this banter. Is anybody actually listening to me, or am I just bleating away to myself here? Because the thing is, I've already done this. I know how it works. This is for your benefit, not for mine. This is supposed to be a little prezi from me to you. All I can see is COVID jab. You should qualify. So should you. You're over 75, aren't you? Go on, get down there. You don't have to pay for it. Right. Oh, this is getting nice and clean now. Cool. Okay. Now let's have a look. I'm going to pop it on there. Not too much then. Go easy. Right. Thank you, Zara. I found a lovely piece of your artwork when I was tidying up the other day. Check it out. And I know where I put it because I thought, what a pretty card. But it's not a card, actually. Check out what Zara gave me. Isn't that beautiful? Lynn, of course we're listening. Hanging on your every word. You are funny, you lot. Right, I wonder how tealy this is. Shall we check? Let's have a look. It's a bit blotchy to me. Oh no, that's definitely a nice colour. Okay, let's go for it then. Right, not too much though, because we don't want it to overwhelm the rest, do we? Because it will do anyway, because it's darker. Right, let's have a look. The longer you do this, the more you get rid of. Okay, right, let's see. Right, I'm going for it. Good balance, good angle. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, that'll do. Right, and I wonder, I wonder if we've got the pattern from so we've got a bit of yellow thing. We've got the yellow mock-up, and now I've got the negative of the pattern. I wonder if I pop that over there. Oh, I say. Yes, check that out. See, told you. This is such a cool, yeah, second generation. Nice. So when you're stamping onto the masking fluid, you get the same pattern as you did in the lace. Do you see? Not the same pattern as in the lace, but the same effect. It's good, isn't it? So this is playtime, really, isn't it? It is really. I think so. So I'm going to go. Let's have a look. We've got a bit more there. I reckon that'll be cool. There, that'll do. Nice. And I've got a pattern thing here. Do I want to put a pattern on there? Do you think that would look weird? Weird. Well, Oh, it might look weird. Well, you'll never know unless you do it, Gray. Right, in it goes. Oh, see, I've got the pattern there. Oh, no. Love. So now I've got a pattern on a pattern. Right, let's do a couple of light blue ones. Right, Lillian, you're watching. This is where I didn't go to the ink pad. I took it straight off that little brayer. These are cool brayers, you know. Now, let's see what happens. Where's the... I've still got some Frisket there. Yes, 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 yes. So I've got blue. Let's have a look. I'm going to put one there like that. Look, you wouldn't think. See what I mean? And then I've got a bit more of a pattern going there now. Oh, I say, really. And again, look how much is still on that brayer. Quite something, really. Then I don't know. I want it to be not so dark. And it's still dark. You wouldn't think. Let me see if I just gently go like that. And then see if I can get a lighter colour. Where's that Frisket? Have I still got a bit of Frisket to cover up? Yes. Right. Yeah, see, light blue. Love it. Right, now it's starting to tone down a little bit, see? It's amazing how much... It's a proper, clever little dispenser, really. That's too dark. Way too dark. But I'm not going to overthink it. Let's get a different colour going. I'm killing this with teal. That's all right, though. It's all right. It's all in the name of research and development, as they say. I'll just clean off the teal because it's quite a dark colour, isn't it, that one? Yes. Okay, so let's go back to... I think maybe I'm going to go back into my little yellow drawer. Let's try a different one. Sunflower. It's a bit more cadmium-y. Let's try a cadmium-y yellow. See if that helps. Lighten it up a bit. See what happens if I do that. Okay. So I'm just filling. Oh, it's got all different colours. I bet I didn't clean this, did I? Well, note to self. Clean this too. Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. You still there, Grace, or I'm on my own? Lynn, does the archival not dry as quickly on the gel plate? Exactly, Lynn. Exactly that. It doesn't, and I don't know why, but normally Archival ink is a very fast drying ink, isn't it? But for some reason, right, interestingly, look, I'm going to leave that on there and I'm going to clean off the brayer. And we're still going to... Now, normally that would be dry by now, wouldn't it, on there? Let's see. I just want to get rid of the green on here so that the yellow is yellow. Because obviously it stays on the brayer as well. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to not dilute it. I'm just going to go for it. Let's put it over here. Put it over here. There's a nice yellow. See? Sunflower. Let's get a bit of brightness going. Like that. But you see how long that stayed? Did you see how long that stayed wet? It's cool, isn't it? There you go. That's more like it. Now we're cooking with gas. So now let's add a little... Let's just move it out a bit. This will be a bit of yellow in there, in that corner there. No, there wasn't any yellow on there. Right. And then I think what we're going to do is move to Frisket removal. My favourite thing to do. Right, that'll do. Okay. So let's have a look. We've got... Right, should we have a go now? Let's see. Let's see. So the ink is dry. Right, you ready for this? Let's see what we get when we do the big reveal. And you'll see, as you do this, This is my favourite bit. Right, you're coming in for this one. Okay. So you can use your finger and you can just rub across like this. There we are, look. And you can see wherever the frisket was, no colour. So the more you remove, but this is so nice to do. Also, do you know this rubber, this sort of rubber? It's like watercolor rubber. It's good actually, but it works really well if you don't want to use your fingers. Look, like that, and then it just comes off like that. Here we are. Oh, this is so cool. There. Oh, I like that. Right. So you've got some good patterns in there. And then when you expose the white, you just get that. It's like a hint. You know what else is good? Is that negative. You know where we printed off, so you can see where the frisket is, where the white blocker is, isn't it? I mean, it just goes to show how effective this is. You know how efficient the liquid masking is. Look how it's taken it right out. But if I were to take this piece now, see, you can't judge it from what you're looking at. You can't. This is the most important thing that I'm going to talk to you about this evening, is you can't judge this from its entirety. It would be foolish to do that, because it's when you take these pieces and you start to look at it and you say, okay, so if I like that bit there, that's rather nice. See, I am listening. See, so if you go like that, you could take that bit there, and so now you're getting some really nice so this is rather nice. So you could use that bit there, like that there, so pretty. And still it doesn't have any significance until you load an image into it. But see, I find this kind of thing interesting. I like that bit there. So I would probably chop that bit up, and I'm also partial to this bit here. So it might be that I use that bit there. So this is where you you have to go into your own zone, right? And look at what you've got. Like this is a piece this morning that I was working on all this afternoon, and I'm going to show it to you because you would think, well, that was a disaster, right? And I thought that as well. You know, you can't help the thoughts that come into your head. This was a piece of one of those other, this looked like that, you see? And what I did was, like, here it is, I chopped it up. This is actually a better looking piece, right? But you can see this was just a little piece that I thought I want to show you how you can take a little bit like that and then turn it into something very special. This is where the stamps start to give your background a narrative. All this was a background. Okay, so let me I'm going to go back in this is my go-to box, which is where I'm going to go to, and I'm going to pick my absolute favorite set of stamps, Annie's stamps. Here we go. So I know, right? I know that they will just work beautifully. I just know they will. Don't matter which one I pick, I know it's going to look lovely. So say, for example, doesn't matter which one I pick, I could chop that up. I could take that little boy, you know, my favorite boy, my flyaway boy. I could take him. I'm telling you now, I could go like that. I could go like that. And I could fly him over the top like that. And he would look superb there. It doesn't matter, right? I'll show you. Stick to this one. And I'm going to go with You Hung the Moon. So I love this one. Look, take that, right? So let's have a look. It looks a bit cruddy, really, but that's the whole point. It's got a land, so it's which way around do I want to pop her there like that, or do I want to pop her on the hill like that? I prefer that way round, so that she's there. Let's have a look. She's there, and the moon is there like that, and I think that's going to look gorgeous. Right. So you take a little piece like that, you offer up the image, and you start to create your narrative. I think that. Do I want to put any words on there? Maybe. I don't know. One thing at a time. But I'm going to just grab let me just take a mount. A mount. And this is where I invite you, right, to make these crazy backgrounds with stencils, and then figure out a piece that you're going to use, and then figure out which stamps you're going to use. And all the time, right, you're not judging. You're not judging your artwork. You're not going, oh, it's not as good as hers. Look at this. How can you say that it's not as good as this? This isn't good. This is just art. Okay. This is an expression of a process. And if you don't try it and you don't accept that it isn't going to be what you preconceive, that's the joy of it, you know? Now let's have a look. Let me come out a little tiny bit. I think I'm a bit too close. Then I need a black archival ink pad. I'll get a black archival ink pad. I'm going to season up the stamp. Let's have a look. See if it stamps up nicely. Of course it does. Of course it does. But we need to season it to make sure. See what happens if I just stamp. And all these little bits that I've been just stamping up, different shapes and different... Where was that really cool piece where I overlaid? I bet that was nice. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. That looks good. Where was that piece where oh yeah, that bit. Oh, I like that. See, I reckon that would look really good on there as well, like that. Maybe a different stamp on there. Either way, I've had hours of fun here getting these ready. Now let's put her. You Hung the Moon. Now, do I want to use a stamp as well, a word stamp? Because if I do, I've got to give myself a little bit of a gap, haven't I? So I pop that there like that. Let's just check it out. Carpe diem. Seize the day. So I'm going to pop that there. Then she's got to be up on the hill a bit further up. Otherwise, we're going to lose the girl. Or we don't. We just put the little girl in and forget about Carpe Diem. Put Carpe Diem on the card. On the other bit, not on the art. Eh? Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky? Hey? We get to hang out together. We get to just have a lovely evening, playing with stamps, hanging out with our mates, bit of company for everybody. So sorry to hear about Lisa and Richard, though. That's tough, isn't it? Is Ken around this evening? There. Now tell me that isn't glorious. See? So simple, isn't it? So simple. And we're safe. Yeah, we are, Grace. We're safe, my darling. See, that looks rather nice. I think Dream. There you go. Dream fits apart from anything else. So let me just... You can see why these stamps are in my go-to box, can't you? And do you know what? This is how mad I am. These are always in my go-to book. But just in case, right, I can't find them, I've got them again. I have. That's how important these stamps are to me. That's what they look like when they're all new. And this is what they look like when they get used hundreds and hundreds of times. And that is testament to the clarity quality. I know. We are so lucky. Now, let's have a look. Dream. Where am I going to pop Dream? It's a bit big, Barbara. Let's use a small amount. I mean, I could open a mount shop with the number of mounts I've got in there. Okay, that'll do. Dream. Dream. Okay. Dream. It's just one for test. Yes. And one for best. Now, because it's a bit curly, right, top tip, when I'm stamping, this was flat, this is curling up a little bit. So what I don't want to do is come up and meet the stamp, you know. So I'm going to stick it down on the table. And that way, it's not curly anymore. All hail to the low-tack tape. Right, see, so now it's flat. Now it's not going to hit the stamp before I reach it, if you know what I mean. There we go. And I'm going to pop Dream right there. Nice. That's it. All done. That's lovely, isn't it? See, that's my kind of art. Because the background is using a super abstract kind of background, okay, and you can use this now, this idea, this is the point, you can use it to do the background like that. If you saw this in the bigger piece, you'd say, well, what on earth is that? If you saw it in the large piece, you'd think, never in a month of Sundays would you get something as nice as that out of it. But you've also, this piece here, look, there it is. You've got a lovely piece down there, you see? So just to explain, I hope that you enjoyed that. I really like this. And then how you present that, that's entirely up to you now. Whether you mount that on a little black card, whether you put it on a little, I wonder if that sits quite nice on there, doesn't it? On a craft card, that looks rather nice. And what about that old finishing trick of ours with the, do you like the, I like that. I like the black edge. I think on this particular one, a black edge would look rather good, don't you? Where's that bit of pink that I've been using? There we go. Let's just take a bit of, round we go. There we are. Don't need a ruler for that little job, do we? Done. And I'm going to take that off there. So now I've given it a nice frame. The only thing still left to do is make sure that she's not floating away. There you go. So now she's anchored, but shadow, the pencil, she's not going anywhere. I like it a lot. And we'll go like that, pop that on there. And we've still got some, well, I've still got a couple. Let's have a look. Just pop that on there, bit of project completion. Hey? And then well, I think we'll call it a day. How's that? Gracie, thank you so much. Even when she's got COVID, she comes and keeps us company. There we are. So there's that lovely card. There are all the other little backgrounds, all the potentials. Yeah. And I will finish these ones that I just showed you the tricks on. Look out for the Tower of Pisa and what I do with that one. Okay. So there you go, my friends. Couple of hours, 1.5 hours, that'll do. And we've had a lovely evening. And we did a couple of other things as well. We took the imprints and we overlaid them. That was quite fun. We used sequin waste, positive and negative. I showed you how to do the lace, positive and negative. That's quite fun too as a background. My personal type of art, right? This is fun, and this is clever. You understand? It's just like, oh, it's punchy. It's like what you do on Selly Telly when you go on television and you want to sell gel press. It's like, this is what, when you go to the NEC, I know when I do that, people go, oh, I've got to do that. I'm going to try that, right? That's what that is. It's a process. It's simple, and you get a great result every time. This is art. This is where you can't predict. I can predict what that's going to look like. I know exactly what it's going to look like before I even get the ink pads out. This you can't. And this is where you grow. This is where you really, really develop your artistic, your creativity, your depth. This is food for the soul, this stuff. So if you want to join me once a month for the Mixed Media Clarity Calendar Craft Along, then you're more than welcome. And if you want to join me on the online workshop on Saturday, it's a paid one. But like I said, we have to charge for some of them, only just to pay the staff really and pay the rent. So Saturday's alcohol inks on a jelly plate. Now that's fascinating. So we've done archivals here. Alcohol ink is a whole other kettle of cod. So what does Lisa say? Thank you for having me, full of inspiration. Have a lovely weekend. Everything, some of your Saturdays in London Circle. I may only be able to watch, but I'm looking forward to learning new skills. Okay, darling. Well, I hope that you didn't hurt yourself too badly, and I hope that you can keep each other company while you're getting better. And I hope that you can make it to the open days in November. I hope that you've recovered well by then. Really worth waking up for. Well, Karen, it was my pleasure to have your company. So have a great evening, everybody. Don't forget, if you still want to join me on Saturday for a full day of mixed media, gel press, alcohol ink, tuition, then do come along. Ken isn't here. Yeah, I know. I'll reach out to him later. Lots of love to everybody. Thanks, Grace. Get well soon. Drink tea. Wrap up warm. Okay. Let that fella of yours look after you. Give him my love as well. Now, where did I put this? Okay. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.